Hello, folks. This is Raj Sastri from Raj Option Trading. Today, I want to talk about heavily shorted stocks. As you can see here, shorting a stock means opening a position to by borrowing the shares that you don't have. So, in this example here, a short seller is borrowing a Blink share. They must have borrowed somewhere, up here as an example. So thinking, Blink share will go down further. But what happened is suddenly Blink share started going up. This is when short seller feels a squeeze that he's making a huge loss because he will end up, giving the share back or buying the share back at a higher price. So that's the short squeeze. You borrow the stock at a lower price, but stock suddenly goes up and you'll buy the share at a higher price. The more you buy, the more share will go up. So that's the short squeeze. So this is one of the good ideas sometimes to speculate on a share and short squeeze scenario. So with that, let's go into some of the short squeeze plays. These are the heavily shorted stocks as of March 20th. As you can see here, we got multiple of these shares. We'll go into a little more details into these shares and take it from there. So with that, let's look at a couple of these companies here and see whether they make sense. This is a chart. The way this chart is organized is we got all the companies here, and it's organized by short ratio, which is float short by descending order, meaning the company at the top, ELP, has got a high short ratio, 54%. And so on and so forth. As you go down, it's progressively it will go down, 48, 44, whatnot. So the way I look at this chart is I look at the company here ELP as an example and see what the short ratio itself, in this case 54%. I also see how far away from 52-week high the share price is. In this case, it's 40%, 9% lower than 52-week high. And then I see how is it doing on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis it's up, monthly basis it's up, quarterly basis a little bit down. So that gives me an idea if the short squeeze already happened or not. By looking at this here, it looks like short squeeze for most part probably has played out to some extent because share is almost stock is almost at 52-week high. But there may be a scenario where it will still play out, and it might even go further higher than 52-week high. So that's how I look at it, and I also look at what's the RSI. In this case, RSI is high, meaning it's overbought. And insiders, as an example, institutions own 23%, which is not too high. Gross margin is really, it's doing well from a gross margin and a sales growth perspective. That tells me, company is really making some money. They got good sales growth and gross margin. So normally, what I tend to look at is really I look at the stocks which are very much off of their 52-week high. In this case, Blink charging 40% off of 52-week high. And if you look at insiders are buying it. 36% of the insiders are buying it. Institutions also own a little bit, not too much. But in this scenario, there is a high valuation. Price to sales ratio is high. So I typically watch out. It may be okay to speculate a little bit here, given it's 40% off of 52-week high. Then I look at, as you go through Clovis Oncology, very low price stock, $7.86. And this one is off 29% from 52-week high. There's a short ratio 41%. Insiders are buying it. So that means, insiders really want to buy the share and cost the short squeeze also. So good gross margin overall. I think I look for these type of setup where the RSI is relatively low. In this case, 62, not too bad. Insiders are buying it. Institutions own pretty good chunk. and sales growth is also pretty okay, gross margin perspective. So as you scan through this list, I will not go through them in super detail. If you look at some of these companies here, GSX as example, institutions own 76%. It's off 41% from its 52-week high. um, and in the last week I think it came down or went up a little bit. So this is a scenario where short squeeze may be starting at this time, because it's trying to go up on a weekly basis but it's down on a monthly basis, I mean 1 month basis, and down from a half year basis. So there may be a scenario that it will try to reach its 52-week high through this short squeeze, given there is a high institutions owning it, and there is a insiders also buying it, and RSI is relatively low, and valuation is not too bad either. So next, let's look at some of these companies here. For example, Futu Holding, FUTU, high short ratio, and down 17% for the week, down 23% for the month, up big for the quarter. But overall, if you look at 52-week high, down 35%. So in this scenario, any good news in the stock will cause short squeeze. This future holding can go up a lot, and these shorts will start buying more shares to cover, and share price will go up. And same story with the rocket companies. It's really $23 stock. Companies are doing really nicely, and a lot of folks are shorting it, and institutions hold huge chunk of share. RSI is relatively low, and it's not pricey. So I could see this stock also going up relatively, because the interest rates are down, people are buying homes, they'll get the mortgage. So there is a scenario here. And if you look at some of these here, Tanger Outlet, if you think economy will open up and more people will go out to the outlets and shop, I could see a scenario where this stock can shoot up, and this stock is down 24% from 52-week high. This can do well in the scenario. And same is the story as you go through this. Root Inc. Root, $12 stock. 85% institutions own it. Insiders are buying it. RSI is let's see, RSI is 34, relatively low, and PS, price to sales ratio, is also low. I could make some case for such scenarios where it can go up, and even the Geo Group, same story here. So overall, if you look for stocks that are very much off of that 52-week high, and short squeeze maybe just started or it's going to start, if you look at those scenarios, I think there will be good candidates. And also you can look at institutions, how own percentage, insiders, are they buying or selling. That will give you some good indications. And then finally you should also look at price to sales ratio and make sure it's not super high. Next, let's look at a couple more examples here. Walmart here. Walmart also, there is a huge short ratio here. Insiders are, I think they are selling it, as you can see here. RSI is low. Company is making money. So I would think, because stock is off so much, there may be a scenario, soon this also will get into short squeeze type scenario on any good news. And as you scan through this, some one here, GameStop, as you can see, the institutions are buying so much of this, 95%. It's part of the retail ETF, XRT. So, insiders, as you can see here, GameStop, there is nothing much on the insider side, but I think the Chewy founder, I think he bought some, GameStop, and they want to do some good things with the GameStop, making it e-commerce friendly. Also is maybe into Bitcoin. As the earnings comes out, if the stock does very well, this can cause get into some short squeeze type scenario, and stock can shoot up. And same story as you scan down, some of these stocks, one spa, 97% owned by institutions, and I think some of these stocks can go well. And as you scan through, I will not go through in super detail. You can look at Sorrento Therapeutic here. Insiders are insiders. Let's see here, insiders. Insiders are not doing much with it, but as you can see, your RSI is low. It's a good growth, maybe off of lower revenue, but good gross margin. You could make a case for this. Given the stock is down 50% from its 52-week high, it can go up on a good news with the short squeeze type scenario. So with that, that's a wrap. I would like you to, as you do short squeezes, watch out a little bit. Don't go overboard. Be a little bit careful. Look at good companies with the good institutional ownership and RSI relatively low and price to sales ratio relatively low. And, look at those scenarios. Also look at scenarios where insiders are really buying it, meaning it's a positive insider transaction, and make sure it's off of 52-week high, so that way you'll get an idea. And also it's good to look at scenarios where short squeeze has just started. As you scan through this list, in some scenario, cases, for example, short squeeze might have just started, maybe right here, it may be just starting here. So you can kind of make sense out of, by looking at weekly, monthly, quarterly performance, you will kind of know where the short squeeze is at. So that's a good way to look at it, and take it from there. With that, it's a wrap. Happy trading. Thank you very much.